What's up, 12s? Can you feel it? That electric current running through the Pacific Northwest isn't just the usual Seattle rain, it's the shockwaves emanating from the VMAC as we speak. Your Seattle Seahawks are undergoing a defensive revolution that has the entire NFL on notice. After the seismic offseason move, shipping out our franchise quarterback and star receiver, many thought the rebuild would take years. Wrong. The front office is orchestrating a masterclass in roster construction right under everyone's noses. 3 massive developments are converging at once that could transform our defense into an absolute nightmare for opposing offenses. We're talking about a potential defensive juggernaut taking shape in the shadows while the rest of the league sleeps on us. What if I told you an overlooked giant who was criminally undrafted could become our next defensive cornerstone? A player so physically imposing that analysts had a 3rd-round grade on him. What if a draft steal recovering from injury could be our secret mid-season reinforcement, bringing freakish athleticism and championship pedigree when we need it most for a playoff push? And what if, and I'm shaking just typing this, the front office isn't done making blockbuster moves with 2 all-pro defenders possibly on their radar? Smash that like button if you're ready for some Seahawks football and subscribe for daily updates on your beloved Hawks. The Legion of Boom days might be behind us, but something equally terrifying could be brewing in Seattle. Buckle up, 12s, because the defensive mastermind we hired as head coach is about to get weapons that could turn this unit into the NFL's worst nightmare. And it all starts with an absolutely massive edge rusher that no one is talking about. Remember that name? Tells Jared Ivey, the 6'6", 280-pound monster from Miss, who somehow someway slipped through 7 rounds of the NFL draft despite having a 3rd-round grade from Bleacher Report. The disrespect is real, but it's about to fuel a revenge tour that will have quarterbacks across the league waking up in cold sweats. This isn't just another UDFA hoping to make the practice squad. We're talking about a physical specimen who racked up 7 sacks for Ole Miss last season and posted double-digit tackles for loss in back-to-back years. The man is a wrecking ball with the frame to get even bigger. Draft expert Ryan Fowler of the Draft Network has already identified Ivey as one of Seattle's potential UDFA gems, alongside defensive back Z Alexander. But it's Ivey who could trigger a complete roster shakeup on our defensive front. Think about this. Telvies, Leonard Williams and Jaron Reed are solid veterans, but they're both on the wrong side of 30. The defensive line needs fresh blood, and Ivey brings youth, size, and raw power that could make him the perfect understudy before taking over as our next interior force. Can you imagine what our defensive coordinator, Aiden Durr, could do with this much athleticism? The possibilities are endless. Ivey could be the next Doug Baldwin or Jermaine Pierce, undrafted players who became Seahawks legends. Sure, there were questions about his motor and bend coming out of college, but would John Schneider, the genius who found late-round gems like Richard Sherman, Cam Chancellor, and Tyler Lockett, bring in someone who doesn't love football? No chance. Schneider sees something special in Ivey that 31 other teams missed. What's even more exciting is how Ivey's development could perfectly align with our current defensive line rotation. He doesn't need to be an immediate starter. He can develop his technique, add muscle mass, and prepare to dominate in 2026. This is exactly the type of long-term thinking that built the Legion of Boom. But here's what should have you jumping out of your seat, 12s. Ivey isn't even our only defensive line reinforcement. While everyone's sleeping on our undrafted monster, we've got another defensive lineman poised to make an impact. And this one came with draft capital attached. Are you ready to learn about the defensive weapon that had our coaching staff pounding the table during the draft? A player so perfectly suited for our scheme that our GM said the defensive coordinator might have quit if we didn't draft him. The reinforcements are coming, 12s, and they're coming in waves. As if Jared Ivey wasn't enough to get excited about, the Seahawks aggressively traded up in the draft to secure Riley Mills. Yes, the Riley Mills, the Notre Dame defensive line monster who was a second-team All-American and led the Fighting Irish with 7.5 sacks last season. Schneider didn't just like Mills, he was obsessed. When asked about the pick, our GM revealed that defensive coordinator Aidan Durr was so high on Mills that he might not have shown up for work on Monday if they didn't draft him. That's the level of conviction we're talking about. Mills isn't just another draft pick, he's a two-time member of Bruce Feldherr,